welcome to Hikate's Crossing as I create my coffee. Sorry, I'm a bit of a mess this morning because it is a Sunday, New Year's Day actually. Well, I do these hashtags that I want to catch up on. So I'm actually using rude coffee. So rude not to drink it. Okay. I'm a mess. Let's just put up with the thing. So, got my coffee cup, got my kettle boiled, got in my sugar. Now, the rude coffee, I've done a video on that one. So, if you want to know all about rude coffee, definitely suggest you go and watch that video. Okay, so, put the sachet of rude coffee in there. Now, it's not a normal coffee. It's got monk fruit and stuff in it. It's quite nice. Okay, soy milk, give it a bit of a shake. And it could be soya, oat, rice, whatever I feel like. Whatever's in my groceries. Changes all the time. Right, put that back in the fridge. I know, I'm a mess today. So, sort of see. Oh. So, this is the coffee. Now, coffees change depending on the mood. Sometimes I do a pressed coffee. I'll do a soya latte. Or I'll use a Nescafe one in a jar like this. Coffees change all the time depending on the mood. With coffee, you know, with the plunger pressed coffee or whatever I feel like drinking. So it changes all the time. Okay, so we've got my coffee. Right. Let's begin the journey. Now, you caught me on a really scruffy day. Let's put my coffee to one side. And let's move the video down. Oh my god, what a mess. Okay, this prompt, or this hashtag, by admits the grey. Okay, so slowly and surely you can go through. I'll put the original video, the link down below, not a problem. So, coffee house decks. Now, these are decks that are related to like coffee. Now, this was a bit of a struggle for me to sort of go through because especially the espresso, well, the deck that's strong and punchy, you get straight to the point, because that's the type of readings that I sort of like to do when I'm reading for a client anyway. I'm not a waffler when it comes to readings, and there's so many amazing decks out there by some amazing creators. And I think my reading style is generally, I like to get to the point. I'm not a waffly reader, even though sometimes there are some decks that when I'm working for myself that I'm a bit more of a pour over and that I dive a little bit deeper to them. So generally with my readings, I try and be quite quick. There's some decks that are definitely where you are quite clear, like they're quite simple, they've got words on them and they're really cool. There's some decks that could be a little bit more busy in their images, so that you get a little bit more message from them. So anyway, let's go straight to, for me, the espresso shot, a deck that's strong and punchy and gets straight to the point. I think any type of Tarot de Marseille sort of, or the Spanish tarot, anything like that, I think is very much for me, in the ancient Italian, I think very much for me is a deck that can get straight to the point. I mean, there's no mucking around with it. It is just a real sort of, this is the antique, whoops, let me just this in here from Los Scarabeo. I like a few more of these decks from this collection. I think there's some really cool ones with the different, you know, like a German one. I keep going on about that German one I still want. So definitely, I think any type of deck like this for me is a deck that's clear, it's straight to the point, there's no waffling, there's no because it's just with whatever you get, that message you get, there's no I find it's just like straight to the point, there's no images to really sort of dive too deep into, so to speak. It's sort of the traditional meanings. I don't know, just for me, it's just very much anything that's sort of antique like this is just straight to the point. For me, any sort of Tarot de Marseille, ancient Italian, very much something that's espresso shot. Okay, next deck to look at is the Drip, a deck that's simple, accessible, and gets the job done. Now, to me, I think any deck by Jane Wallace is going to do that for me. Now, the reason why is accessible is because they always have keywords and things like that. Even though, again, we've got the pip cards. I love pip decks. I think they're very much, they're quick and simple, but they're also very accessible. And I think they're accessible because of the keywords that is used. So any deck by Jane Wallace. This is the Moon and Stars one. I do have the Oceanic Tarot, the Crystal Power one, Oceanic, Crystal Power, oh, Magical Nordic, and I just got her Angel Tarot as well. And I'm going to get, and I want to get the Goddess one as well, so then I'll have all her decks. The reason why is because they are accessible. They're really good when I'm doing quick reads, again, when I'm doing quick reads, but they are accessible because you can have a blank moment and the keywords just give you that. They're really accessible to me. Okay, now, I think they're really important. I love them. I love the pip cards. I love the colours. And all her decks are like that. Now, we've got to also think about the illustrators that are used in these. The illustrators are really something to think about as well. So, I think when I always look at these decks, I always think about the artist and that. So, don't forget to do that. I love the colours. This to me was so accessible, and it's accessible straight out of the box. It's a deck, any of Jane Wallace's deck, even though they're pips, they really do give you that straight out of the box accessibility. I don't think, you know, it's not something that you're going to struggle with too much to begin with. You've got that sort of starting with the keywords and things like that from the deck. So any of Jane Wallace's decks are definitely, for me, the Drip. That deck that sort of is accessible. Okay, the next one is the Pour Over. A deck you need to take your time with, but totally worth it. Okay, for me, there's many decks in my collection that are like that. Decks that you can sort of really have to spend some time with, but they're totally worth it. And I think for me, is the Primordial Tarot. Is that, you know, with the guidebook, with the imagery, they're quite unique and they're quite different. So it's a deck that I can really spend some real time with it. When I put it out for myself, I'm doing a reading. If I'm doing a reading for myself and I really want to connect and really spend some time with the messages, this is a deck that I really spend some time with. Meditation, reflection, just, I feel like there's a lot in the messages, and with the guidebook, even though the guidebook's not huge, as you can see, being a low Scarabeo with all the different languages, I think there's a lot in the cards, and I think it's something that I need to really, and because it's a deck that's quite unique, quite different, is something I need to really sort of take my time with when I'm working with it on a personal level. If I'm doing a reading for myself, that's definitely the way to go. Let's just take a sip. That rude coffee is so nice. So worth it. Right, okay, so let's have a look at, so that's the pour over. That's a deck for me that I really need to take my time with. I sort of, like in a good for meditation. It's just something that I can really sort of, it's not something that I can use straight away if I want to do a reading for myself. I want to dive a little bit deeper into it. I mean, I've got lots of decks like that in my collection, but that's sort of the one. Sorry, I'm putting things away as I move through because of living in a caravan. Anyway, so next is the Cafe Latte, a deck that's well received and highly palatable. Okay, there's so many decks out there that are very much like that. Now, for me, I think, I'm just going to do this really quickly, I think is the Gilded Tarot Royale. I think any of Chero's decks, though, are very much like that. I think any of Chero's decks are always well received and highly palatable. So I think this one here, the Gilded Tarot, was originally the Gilded Tarot, and then of course it became the Gilded Tarot Royale when it didn't have the borders anymore. So definitely feel like this deck here, any of Chero's decks are amazing. I mean, the artwork is always beautiful, beautifully done. I think it's very easy to read. I think a lot of people are very drawn to Chero's artwork. And so I think any deck like that is always well received. And this one seemed to be, overall, image-wise, well, the Gilded Tarot was always well received. And so I've always found a lot of people with I think that any of Chero's artwork's always like that, though. So this one to me is the Cafe Latte. It's a deck that's well received and it's highly palatable. Like, people seem to really relate to the artwork for some reason. His artwork. Right, let's do the Cappuccino. A deck that's classic and sophisticated and can be a bit fussy. Now, for me, I know exactly what that is. Let me just put, like I said, I've got to put things away as I move. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to move anywhere if I don't put these away as I go. Okay, so let's just pop that down there for now. Okay, for me, this is definitely a, oh, here it is. Okay, this is definitely the Cappuccino. It's a classic and it's sophisticated and is quite fussy. And the reason why I say it's fussy is because it's quite large. It's quite large in the way it's handled. Okay, and that's the Visconti Sforza. Now, this is the one that's the Golden Tarot Lo Scarabeo. Let me grab the box. I have to grab the box from up here. Oh! This is the box, of course. So, this one is by Mary Packard. Visconti Sforza deck, the Golden Tarot. So, yeah, definitely would call this the Cappuccino deck. I think it's a classic. Comes from, it is a deck that is from the 1400s, of course. It was, created for the family, commissioned for the family, and I think it has got that real classic, and it's very sophisticated. And I think the gold and the I just feel like it's really, there's a lot I don't know, it just feels very classic to me and very rich. And I think the colours, the gold, the antique type feel to it, I think it feels very sophisticated deck. It's very precious to me. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so let's put that one away. Okay, so now we've got the Mocha, a deck that's rich and indulgent and a little bit extra. Okay, for me, I actually feel it's quite weird, but I keep being drawn to the dark goddess for this one. I do feel that it's a deck that sort of, it's quite rich in its messages, if you like. I think it's something that you've got to indulge in. And of course, it's got a little bit extra with the goddesses. Definitely feel like the dark goddess in this way is very rich in knowledge, very rich in its messages. I think there's a lot there, and I think it's something that you really need to indulge in, something that you can really sort of dig your teeth into, sort of dive into. And it does have that with the goddess energy. It does have a little bit of extra information. You know, it does have a little bit of extra oomph to it. And I think I love the colours. I don't know, there's just so much in it. And the guidebook's amazing. I think the guidebook has enough information for you to read without getting overwhelmed, that you can then dive further if you want to. Let me grab the guidebook. I think the guidebook, and it's quite a meaty guidebook, really. When you know, it's a decent size, decent information, the coloured information. To me, I think that's a very rich, indulgent deck. Now we've got the Cortado, a deck that's balanced and objective. Balanced and objective. Okay. I know this is quite a funny one. Balanced and objective. I think there's so many decks out there that can be that way. And for me, I think it's very much my Native American tarot. I find very balanced and very objective. Like, I find it has both a very strong positive and negative aspects to, or would I say light and dark, or yin and yang energies. Just seems to be very balanced in so many ways. I don't know, I feel like this deck is very balanced in regards to emotions. It invokes a lot within me. Now, this is a deck that I've used for like over 20 years, basically 23. I have replaced it. This is it's the new card stock for US games. I did like the original. It was very used. But of course, that box of decks disappeared in the shift. One of the original shifts. So, yeah. Basically, I replaced this in 2017. And I just love it. I mean, I use it all the time, especially for myself, diving deeper into the stories. I have got the companion book somewhere. And it is a deck that you sort of dive deep into constantly. So, I mean, I love it. It's very much balanced and very objective. Very, very objective. Okay, now we've got a Conpana. Compana. A deck that puts you in your place with a hint of sweetness. Oh my god, there's only one deck that does that for me. Really does. It's got a hint of sweetness to it, and that's the Angel Tarot by Radley Valentine. I think any of his decks are going to be like that, where they're quite sweet, like they're quite gentle, but yet there's this really, it can really put you in, and I think it's because of the type of reader I am. I find, for me, I can get a real sense of you're not quite doing as you're told. I remember doing a reading for a client with this one time, and it really was quite harsh. The message was quite harsh that came through from the Angel Tarot. Yeah, I think with the Angel decks, you think, oh yeah, it can be, you know, quite gentle, but man, can they be harsh? Can the messages be harsh when they need to be? And I don't mean nasty or anything like that. I just mean that they're firm, to the point, and they really sort of put you in your place. They sort of say, hey, look, this is what needs to happen. This is what you need to do. This is what's been going on for you. You know, I do find with this Angel Tarot, I do find myself, when I'm doing a reading with this, really being able to get that energy through that's important to the client, but it's got a gentleness about it. So I love it. I do love Angel Tarot by Radley Valentine. Definitely. For the Contana. Right, the Chai Latte. A deck that's warm, cozy, and nurturing. Okay, I think in this case, warm, cozy, and nurturing. What decks have I got with that? That would be more of an oracle deck, I think. And that, to me, I think would be more with, actually, oops. Sorry, I just want to grab an oracle deck for this one here. And I think it's Wonder of the Mother. The only deck that I've sort of got that warm and sort of gently. Most decks I've got that have got a bit of to it. Ouch, I shouldn't hit my finger. Wonder of the Mother. This does have some masculine decks in it. It does have a little bit of the fatherhood and things like that. And it does come with a bit of a pull out. But this deck here, it's got images on the front, and then it's got a little thing on the back. This, to me, is my warm and cozy. The Chai Latte. The motherhood here. So, yeah, I think this is very sort of gentle, very warm and cozy. And this is a deck that I can sort of look at and sort of feel nostalgic or feel the sense of gentleness about it. Definitely feel like that from it. So this is Wonder of the Mother. I think this is a really gorgeous little deck here. Okay, now, ooh, the Matcha Latte. A deck that's an acquired taste and unconventional. An acquired taste and unconventional. But there's so many decks like that that are a little bit different, and I think a lot of them are those, I'm getting very much that sense of that's an acquired taste or a bit unconventional, and I think that's a lot of those insight decks, those decks that are from insight. And I know people, and I think they are very an acquired taste, because they're such pip decks normally. And I think Supernatural, and I know there's lots of people that like Supernatural Tarot, but I do feel like it's quite an acquired taste. Like, I think it's quite, it's only a select, there are only a few people who actually love the deck. And, you know, and I love pip decks anyway. I love character decks. I love Supernatural. But I think any of the insight decks are going to be like that in many ways. Any sort of these insight decks, the card stock's a little bit thicker in this one. And I just feel like yeah, supernatural I think is a very acquired taste, and I think you're going to get that with any sort of movie, TV series type deck. Not everybody is going to rave about it, or I think it's going to be quite unique to a unique crowd, put it that way. I don't think it's going to be for everybody, and I know lots of people may have it, but they may not love it. And that's okay, because I think that's important that we all have our own taste. This, for me, I think is quite an acquired taste. It's a little bit unconventional. It's a little bit different. Because it does follow a particular TV series. And I think you're going to get that with anything that's a movie or a TV series, or, you know, you got Lord of the Rings, you got Labyrinth, which I think is a little bit more, but I think Supernatural was quite a unique crowd. But yeah, I just think that's unique. So Supernatural, Tara. Right, the hot chocolate, a deck that speaks to the younger version of me, and that is definitely for me. And this one is the Alice in Wonderland. I think anything that's sort of childlike sort of energy, I think Alice in Wonderland is definitely that one for me. It's a very childlike energy. Again, so it's insight, definitely the pips. But for me, it's that memories of a childhood memories. The characters from Alice in Wonderland. And I know there's lots of Alice in Wonderland decks, but I don't know, this one just, this is the one that I liked. Like I said, I love pip decks, so I think you'll find, you know. But yeah, Alice in Wonderland, love the imagery, and yes, it's the childhood, speaks to the childhood within me. Definitely there. Okay, we've got the Italian Soda, a deck that's fun, low-key, and not overly serious. Okay, I think there's so many decks that could come into this, But for me, let me just put, again, I'm putting things away as I go, otherwise I'll never get space to move. Okay, a deck that's fun, low-key, and not overly serious would be Cats Rule the Earth. I think, you know, when you look at the cat imagery, it's so cute. Oops, the guidebook's brilliant. Yeah, and I think the cats, I mean, they are kind of cute. You know, how can you can't be too serious when you look at the cats. I mean, the messages that come through can be, but if you really sort of take a moment to take a breath and just look and see what the cats are doing, and it's got a real fun energy about it. Definitely, I just like, you know, I think the cats, the wine, Knight of Cups. I think it's got a real sort of fun energy about it. Got the Chariot, cat with its, yeah. I mean, Three of Swords has got a bit of a harsh aspect to it, but I think overall it has got a very not overly serious. It's not too serious energy about it. I love it. Okay, the last one here is the herbal tea. A tea that takes things down a notch and helps you unwind. Oh my god, there's so many decks out there. I mean, all my decks I just love relaxing with. I mean, I can just pick up and shuffle, not a problem. But I think a deck that takes things down a notch and helps me unwind. I think I could really do that as the Waterfall Tarot, actually. actually find this a really cool deck. And I think I like this with Tarot Oracle. Not very many left, I know, on his Etsy store. I think this is sort of getting down to his last few, so you don't want to miss out. But he's got little twists in the images. And what I like to do is sort of sit there and just fun look for the things that are a little different, that are not the same as a normal Rider-Waite-Smith deck. There are some little twists, there are some things in his images that are a little different. So I want to take my time. Sometimes it's quite nice to just take my time and just have a look at the things that are a little different there. And it just helps me relax. I'm not being serious. I'm not doing any readings. I'm not diving into it for any study. I'm just enjoying looking through the images and relaxing. And I think because it's a watercolor, there is a softer energy to it. There is a softer energy. But I must admit, the messages that come through are great. They're really good, non-waffly messages that come through. With any, like I said, I think that's just the type of reader I am, basically. And it can sort of take a little bit for me to sort of really get into, depending on the client, to whether anything more comes through. But I like looking at the twists, the extras in these images. You know, what's the little extra that's a little different from a normal Rider-Waite-Smith deck? That's the one that I like, just sort of takes things down a little bit too for me and just helps me unwind. I just love it. It's just that little relaxation. But I think any deck will do that for me, where if I'm just looking through the images and just sort of taking things down and doing some quick shuffles, throwing a spread out. It's just, I think any Rider-Waite-Smith deck for me is that sense of it just helps me unwind, because they're quick and easy. And, you know, Rider-Waite-Smith for me took me a long time to sort of get into and just be really easy with it, just be really casual with it and not find it stressful at all. I remember when I first started reading, Rider-Waite-Smith used to really grate at me, and I used to really struggle with it, and that's why I started with the Native American Tarot. But now Rider-Waite-Smith is just such a sort of an easy, down to earth. So he's got the extras like the strength here, and he's got an extra death, which I love. There is. So yeah, I just love this deck. I just find it really, really relaxing. But like I said originally, I struggled with Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, and I would not have found that easy to go. But since I've found some of the new colours, ways, the differences, and like this watercolour is so pleasant to sort of spend time with. I find it very relaxing, and it's a lovely deck to shuffle. Anyway, so that was me. What a great prompt to do. So hopefully you enjoyed my collection as I continue with some other hashtags. Okay, that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care. Blessed be.